go!
Hey guys, how you doing? Today we have an F-15 versus Su-27 video. We're going to do a BVR fight, and once it's over we'll look over the Tacview. And the other interesting thing is that Moltar will be reviewing this exact fight on his channel, and he's going to give us a rundown of what his thoughts are. I will put a link to that video in the comment section below and in the video description. Thanks guys, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, here we go. If you're wondering what the sound difference is in my game versus yours, I'm actually using Moltar's sound mod. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the description below. So here we are, we have a Su-27 off in front of us, flown by Zoho, and we're going to try to kill him. I have him out there. I'm in TWS mode now, and he's got me locked up. Okay, I forgot to go into BVR mode, so now we're in there. We're back in TWS, and I'm in high PRF, pulse repetition frequency. Okay, you can see the range is about 55 miles, so I'm not too worried. He doesn't appear to be diving, which is good. I mean, it's bad for me, it's good for him. It just means that he's not giving up his altitude advantage. A lot of people like to dive initially in a fight. It just kind of reduces and limits your options further into the fight. So Zoho's not doing that here. You can see he's got his ECM on my radar screen down there. That's the ECM, how it shows up on your radar when somebody's jamming you. You can see that I can't get any information on him, his altitude, any of that kind of stuff. All I have is a home on jam frequency on my amraam here. It's saying that if I fire the missile now, the missile will attempt to home in on the jam. Right now I'm trying to burn through his ECM, which means I'm trying to get close enough that my radar can look through his jamming and maybe get off an amraam like that. The only information I can get at this point is his bearing. I only know what bearing he's at. I don't even know his altitude. I don't know anything. And I'm constantly just pressing in here. There's one. We're going to give him one on home on jam here. And then there's the burn through, so I have him on radar now. Okay, and I see missile launch. I'm gonna defend. I got a lot of energy here, so I'm good. I'm gonna pull my nose down here. I still have him locked up. He's within my gimbal limits, so I'm still good like that. I'm gonna come back and recommit here. Defend again. We're gonna try to push a little closer. I lost him on. I lost my lock here. I'm gonna have to pick it up. I'm gonna go in a vertical scan. That vertical scan can get him. There it is. We got him. And he's cold, so he's turned cold on me. So I have a big advantage here. Gotta make it count. He's 6 miles away. We're right on his tail. I managed to recommit much faster than him, and he is in big trouble here, being cold like this. Basically, the way I'm behind him here, he has no chance of turning his nose around and getting a kill. The only thing he can do at this point is try to hide behind a hill or something and pray that I lose him, and he can't even do that because he's completely over flat terrain at this point. There's that second launch, and he's going the other way now. He's indecisive at this point, trying to bleed that missile energy. That was a dangerous amram I fired at him. I think it was about 5 nautical, 6 nautical when I fired that one. That one's right on his tail here. Splash. Good kill, good kill. He's down. And that's it. That's what happens, man. You go cold like that, and you give the advantage away to the other guy. It's all about recommitting in time. Bad day at the office.
Over.
Okay guys, let's have a look at the tack view here. There was my fuel tanks going. Just because you want to be as light as you can be for the fight. And so I'm going to close in about 34 nautical miles ish, and he had his ECM on at this point. So my only option was to fire a home on jam amram, and home on jam just means that the amram is going to go and try to hit the source of the jamming. And really the only main disadvantage with that is that the amram does not fly a lead pursuit on the target, on the source of the jam. It flies a pure pursuit, which makes it kind of easy to defeat, but you know, it's kind of your only option at this range. So he fires his R-27ER at me here, and I know that it's kind of a long shot, so I take my time here. Not too long, but it's kind of long, and just a couple of cranks should be able to defeat it. And what I'm trying to do here is burn through his ECM. Burn through means getting at a range at which his like you want to push closer, and if you push closer the ECM just becomes ineffective, and the magic number there is 22 nautical miles. And so that's really what I'm pushing for here, trying to pull through that. Now I think I fired one at home on jam just outside of it, I think, or maybe I didn't. Yeah, this one is a home on jam amram, I believe, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be flying a pure pursuit, and right here I burned through the ECM, so I have him on radar now on TWS, and therefore I can actually see his position and all that stuff. When he has his ECM on, all you can see is his bearing. You don't get any other kind of information, so that's kind of what he's trying to do there. He's trying to limit my TWS launch range. But yeah, so here we go at 27 nautical miles. So I fire off my home on jam amram, and that's really just the one that I wanted to force him defensive a little bit. His ER is coming in here, so I'm going to defend that, and a simple dive defeats that missile, just because it was kind of a far shot. It's not really low on energy, but it's low enough that a maneuver like this can defeat it. The other reason it's working is because I have a lot of energy. I was full burner the entire time. You can see true airspeed of 959 and Mach of 1.6. So I had a nice little amount of energy, so this dive defeated that missile rather easily. He does have a second ER coming in, and this one's got a little bit more energy at Mach 2. And so I'm popping a few flares here. The reason for this is I don't know if he fired an ET at me, and an ET is an IR missile. It's a heat seeking missile, which means I'm not going to receive an RWR notification for it. And so I'm just going to drop a couple of flares just to be safe, you know, in case he did that. Now, got kind of lucky with this one. I didn't really defend it, almost flew right into it. And it just kind of zipped underneath me. Not really too sure what's going on here. It does look like, again, it's not low on energy. I feel like it should have been able to maneuver to get the kill, but for whatever reason it doesn't. I do kind of pitch up a little bit, and again, my speed is pretty high, so it's possible the missile just couldn't maneuver in time. But I feel like this is a little weird. What's going on there with that ER? Probably a lucky miss for me. So I'm going to push in. Now this whole time that I was doing this maneuver here, I was keeping my gimbals, I was keeping him within my gimbal limits of my radar. So I was able to fire off another AMRAAM here. This is a much more dangerous AMRAAM at 9.9 nautical miles here. And his altitude is 15,000 feet and mine is 18,000. So this is definitely a very dangerous AMRAAM launch here for him that he definitely needs to defend. He has fired off an ET. It doesn't know it's tracking. So there's a couple more flares. Again, not sure if there's an ER launch, or sorry, an ET launch. The missile did not seem to go for the flares, but it also didn't seem like it could maneuver to hit me. Again, the reason I'm defeating these missiles, I believe, is because of my tremendous amount of energy. I'm constantly diving and, you know, turning and pulling up a little bit here and diving again. And it's just creating a situation where I'm moving really quickly. And with me moving that quickly, it's making it difficult for the missile to set an intercept point. And also, it's worth noting that every time I come down, I'm dragging the missile into denser and denser air, right? So there's this amram, which I have no idea what it's doing. It looks like it just went stupid. Very strange, because I'm 99% sure I had a lock when I fired that one. But anyway, so what happens here is there is a slight mistake on Zoho's part. Or wait, was this the first AMRAM? No, this is the second one. This is the first one. It's probably still sending RWR pings to Zoho here, so he's turned cold in his defensive maneuver. I took a bit of a risk by not turning cold and constantly pressing him, and the risk and reward here, this was the risk, and you saw that I almost took an ER to the face doing this, but the reward was that I was able to keep my nose hot on my target, which means that I was always aware of his situation. I always knew where he was, and in the event that I lost lock, I'd be able to quickly pick it up again, and I'm constantly able to press him. Zoho here has made the mistake of turning cold. Right here, he turned cold, and therefore he's defensive. His situational awareness is out the window compared to me, and he has now two problems. He has to get his nose around on target, and he has to find me, and he has to fire. So that's three problems. And so at about 7 nautical miles, I fire off another AMRAM. I'm very aware of his aspect at this point. I put it in vertical notch to pick him up, or vertical scan to pick him up, and fired off this AMRAM at him. I've got him totally locked up, just trying to make sure that he doesn't put his nose around on me. At this point, I've got him totally defensive, and now that AMRAM isn't going to hit him because he goes cold, but the entire purpose of it was to allow me to continue to press him, get closer without allowing him to turn around on me. And he's totally defensive here, and this is the second AMRAM. And I'm hot on his tail here. If this misses, I'll be within Sidewinder range very quickly. You can see the range is about 3.5 nautical miles. You can see this AMRAM's coming up right behind him. He's trying to change his aspect to force the missile to set a new intercept lead over here. And it's just not enough though, just because his speed is relatively low compared to the AMRAM at Mach 1.9, and he's only at Mach 1. Which means that AMRAM is going to catch him pretty quickly. And that's a kill. Alright, so there it goes. So I think, you know, we had a good example of a risk and reward type situation here, constantly pressing your target. The advantages of not turning your nose cold on your target, and what happens when you do turn cold and your enemy presses you. You end up in a situation where you're in a big, you got a big problem. You're in a lot of trouble in that situation. So there it is. That's the kill. Big thank you to Zoho for helping out here. And again, if you want to see another analysis of this Tacview by somebody who really knows his air-to-air stuff, I highly recommend you check out Moltar's channel and the video that he did on this Tacview and this fight. He talked about this exact fight on his channel, and that link will be in the description below. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.